Let's begin with the invocation. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhe Bhavatu Me Sada Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Hari Om. Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Yes. Can someone recollect something? Can someone form the link so we can move ahead? Yes, please. Anybody?
People of low wisdom, they have desires which give them only temporary fruits. Desires are temporary, and the divine does not. It does not matter to the divine which path you take or which form you worship him in. So long as you are controlling your desires and focusing on gaining the ultimate wisdom, that's all that matters. Such a devotee is very precious to him. This
Yes.
was
Thank
one
you,
takeaway.
Shivaji. Yes. So the ignorance takes a person on the path of desires. Or as alternatively, if we are running after desires, we can say that ignorance inside of us is making us run after the desires. So that leads us astray. Yes. Anybody would like to add further to what Shivaji shared? Yes, please.
We also
Yes,
talked
Mitaji.
about Maya and also the four paths, spiritual paths, that of knowledge, of devotion, and through suffering and through thinking of the greater good, and uh, and also
Or
about
working for the greater good.
working for the
Yes.
greater good. Yes. But he says he also said the amongst them the person most dearer to him is the one who is truly united with him, and you know he thinks of only him, and uh,
The aspiration is, or the ambition is to become one with the
one
divine,
with him.
and
Yeah.
that person is practicing the principles. That is all the principles that Krishna is saying. It is like it is possible also. Actually, a lot of people say there are too many principles to practice, but it is not like this is some SOP. You have to keep ticking. Okay, I practiced this, I practiced that. It's actually a state of consciousness. When you reach that, you will naturally, I mean, for example, samatha bhav. If you enter into that state that I am going to see oneness, you will not discriminate among anybody. You will see all as one. Maybe somebody might be a little ignorant, maybe somebody might look more enlightened, but your eyesight, your drishti will be different. Your way of perceiving, you will see oneness. What we talk about unity in diversity, something like that. At ekatvam is something which we can realize. Not everybody is able to understand this. Not everybody is able to see the divine. Not everybody is able to
Yes,
become
sir.
conscious of the existence of the divine. That is all because of Maya. Maya prevents a person from realizing. So when God is not there, what do you do? When you don't realize there is a divine, what is it that we are going to do? Anyone, anybody.
If you don't recollect the divine, then you will chase after all kinds of Maya, dreams, desires.
You say I'll have
What
to run
else?
up. My desires are everything. The world runs. I desire, so I am. There is no divine. My desires are everything, and you will run after the desires. And Krishna said that it's a antavanta. He says this antavattu phalam tesham. These fruits of desires are temporary. Somebody chooses a person I know wanted to experience higher truth. So a real spiritual truth I can experience only when I drink spirits. That was what that individual felt. But that whatever high or higher truth that person was seeking, that did not remain forever. What we talk about hangover is very bad afterwards. It is the same thing when we run after desires. When we run after desires, we get some fruits. Krishna says, I allow it. It's like sometimes a child keeps crying and irritating and pestering the mother. What will the mother do? Okay, fine, let's give this and make this child keep quiet. It's not out of love, it's something out of because of this continuous disturbance created. It's something like that. You seek desires very, very vehemently. Krishna says those desires may also get fulfilled. But understand they all come with an expiry date. And the desires will not allow you to actually see anything beyond it. That is one thing. Yes, yes. So with this, Krishna has told another aspect of Shraddha is something Krishna said, I will not disturb another person's Shraddha. As per a person's Shraddha, a person is going to pray. Sometimes they make prayers with expectations. He says, whichever form, whichever way the devotee chooses, I grant that. Because I want the devotion to grow firm. He is not trying to say you are worshipping a false god. You are worshipping somebody who is less powerful. You are worshipping something wrong. He says, it's all right. This is your sincere desire. Go ahead, experience it. And you will learn. You will learn and then come on the right path ultimately. That is what Krishna recognizes. But when Krishna recognizes that, can we also recognize the same? Can we also feel the same thing? That, all right, so many forms, they're all going to one place. Let's not unnecessarily disturb another person's Shraddha. I think that's very much possible for us, isn't it? That's an important principle that Krishna is teaching us through his example only. With this, we are ready. We are ready to go into the next shloka, that is the 27th shloka. The last shloka was a little light-heartedly called the sorrow of Krishna. He says, I understand about everybody, past, present, and future of everybody I know. But hey, friend, nobody knows about me. Nobody is knowing me completely. So if Krishna is our friend and our friend feels we don't know him well, the simplest way we can ease our friend from that trouble is by knowing him well. So let us aspire, let us say, we'll help our friend and say, hey, it's not that nobody knows you. I know you. So let's begin to realize that. So with this, we are going into the next shloka, 27th one. इच्छा द्वेष समुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप. In likes and dislikes, they are lost. In desire's illusion, by the dualities of aversion and dislike, they are deluded. And from truth's gnosis, they are excluded. O Arjuna, bewildered is every creation. Means we are trapped in our own likes and dislikes. Shouldn't we have preferences? Yes, we can have preferences. But our preferences should not become so rigid that we get trapped in like and dislike. This aversion, dislike, hatred, all of these are very strong emotions which create very strong sanskaras which lead us away from the truth. Imagine a mother and daughter not having a good relation just because of the choice of food. Is that really worth it? It's such a special relation. So many people who don't have parents or who don't have a mother, don't have the chance to meet or talk, they know the value of that meeting so much. Or they know the value of that interaction. But here the desires have come so much, or the aversion. This person eats this food. One participant was saying she's going away from her husband and two children over the food only because they like a type of food which she finds disgusting. So she was like, I don't know what to do. Well, I said, if your preference is so strong that you are going to keep that preference over your relation with your wife and children, I mean, with your husband and children, I think you'll have to recognize your priorities. Which is, what should I do then? Should I leave my own standards? Should I leave my principles? Should I leave my preferences? Of course not. You should stand by up. You can hold on to your what you feel is right for you, but don't get so rigid. Sometimes it's like tea and coffee, also, isn't it? There's a tea party and there's a coffee party, and they both have the greatest yuddha, like some great Mahabharata only. Sometimes, how dare you give this to me? You should have understood this. You should have at least had the courtesy to give this. Entire simple aspects of life get complicated because of our very strong dislikes. We must learn to get over that completely. Otherwise, we are going to be trapped. We will not be able to understand the truth. I had a very nice experience once when a drug inspector was coming for inspection. He was from another faith, but somehow on my forehead, my faith is visible. And so he wanted to test me and he wanted to pinch me somewhere. And so he just, I was taking him to our unit for inspection. He asked me, I have heard that he didn't say Sri Rama, he said Rama was eating non-veg when he was in the jungle. What do you have to say about it? There are so many things I can tell him, but I told him a simple thing. Sir, I think in the jungle he could not have got idli and dosa, so he must have eaten something. But I don't worship Rama because of the food he eats, sir. Rama is worshipped because of his character. So whether he ate or he does not eat, it does not make any difference. He started laughing and he at least didn't get into an argument. And I was in a different position. I can't argue with him also. The inspection report will go unfavorably. But I don't want to lose my license also. So this was an interesting situation, but at least if we are not offended, we are not so much driven by our own preferences that we start getting easily, deviated from our path, then it's a problem. And this we must understand because when people hold on to two different opposite ends, as the mother says, when two people are fighting, both are wrong.
You have given such a good answer, no? But
Ji. I think
immediately it is very
the
difficult.
situation was like that. God's blessing, probably anything else would have taken it differently. But
But
I
one
think,
should not, मतलब
yes, yes,
इतना जल्दी
yes, please.
we don't get the answer in such a way ना कि how
Ji,
we
ji, ji.
manage
Yes,
that
yes. But
situation to
yes,
handle that
yes.
situation. Yes. Um,
Ji, ji. Thank
very
you.
very
But
nice.
yes, but this aspect of these two ends, one side versus another side, instead of that, there's no chance, there's never going to be a reconciliation unless a person takes a higher truth. The Upanishad talks about two ends, Vidya and Avidya. And the higher truth is beyond these two ends also. For us to realize that, to get a reconciliation, we must be able to see opposites also without getting disturbed. So likes, dislike, this dvandva. Dvandva is always the fight, dualities, two things. Sri Aurobindo calls them two negations. The spiritualist negates the material life. The materialist negates the spiritual life. Who is wrong? Both are wrong for negating. Instead, if they can bring about union, yoga, then they will experience a higher truth. So, this is how a person is lost in the traps of desires and dislikes. Let's not get trapped in it. Let's not hate anybody because of our own preferences or own perspectives. It's okay. I can have my own perspective. I can dislike something. It's all right, but not take it to such an extent that I'll stop seeing. We saw a beautiful principle, Vasudevam Sarvamiti. This experience can come. It can come in the most unexpected place. The darshana can come if we are willing to see. It is not anything else but the drishti or in Hindi there's the word drishtikon, the way of seeing. If you are able to see that, that gives you the insight. But Krishna goes on. He says, "Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punykarmanam te dvandva mohana nirmukta bhajante mam dृढ़व्रताः." So Krishna says, "Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dृढ़व्रताः." But those virtuous men who are from sin freed, who have given up their every material need. Steadfastly, they believe in my overlordship and engage devotedly in my worship. But those people who are free from all these unnecessarily created sanskaras of dvandva, they are also free from those sins also. They are not, it is not a sin at all for that person who is able to see things from a higher insight. They have also given up their every material need. Means they are also standing from the higher perspective in their life also. They are walking the talk. Not only they are seeing oneness everywhere, they have gone to a point where they don't have personal desires for some kind of um, on the like on the superficial level, whether it is I want wealth, I want particular some kind of some people have preference of desires of so many types, like either for food or for some other belongings, possessions. These individuals are at least able to come out of that. Then what do they believe in then if they don't believe in desires? They believe in the higher divine. That is Shraddha. And how is the Shraddha? It is Dhruda. Dhruda means firm. Firm meaning it will never change. That is our Shraddha. If our Shraddha is not firm, what's going to happen? We'll not be confident at all, isn't it? Every step we take. Is that faith is something. A beautiful quote, I think, attributed to, I think, Swami Vivekananda. Faith. Faith is so important. Faith is so powerful. That quote was about how you can move mountains, you can drain oceans. Faith, faith, faith in thee, faith, faith, faith in God. Have faith in yourself, have faith in the divine, have that strong faith that the divine will give you the necessary strength to do things. These are all simple, clear understandings. If you have it, you can walk on your path irrespective of what challenges. Just today, I had a chance to speak to a sister whose brother has got diagnosed with cancer, whose mother is suffering from schizophrenia. She is living in a foreign country. She's much younger than I am. She has to look after her finances. She has to support her family's condition. So many such things are happening in her life, and then she is not able to find some kind of peace in career. And yet, her faith in Krishna is so strong. She says, "Ah, he's giving me a lot of trouble, but I'm able to see he's doing in all the situations also. I can see certain things he is doing it. Maybe he's kicking me around, but I'm feeling happy that he is kicking me around." That is a beautiful experience of somebody who has felt it, who is so confident. It does not mean that if I worship, I must get something in return. I am getting everything, and that feeling is there inside of the seeker. And what do? They engage devotedly in my worship. Nobody needs to tell them this time the grahas are better aligned. If you do this mantra, it will give you more results. No, nothing of that sort. Whichever kala it is the kala of the divine. I will worship the divine sincerely at all times. That is the consequence of this dhruda nishtha or this dhruda shraddha. Then so free they are that they are absolutely free from the traps of the world. What are the biggest traps of the world? Biggest trap of life is desire only. Another fear that comes in life is the biggest fear of life is death only, isn't it? And yet a person who is having such a strong Shraddha worries not. Worries not. When life has to end, it's not a problem and it's not in my hand. It's in divine's hand. I'll just keep doing what I can do. Afterwards, also, what's going to happen, I don't care because I've been standing by these principles. I believe in these principles. Earlier, I had a feeling they are right. Then, when I started practicing them, I started experiencing they are right. And afterwards, I am going, because I know they are truth, I will be meeting that truth only afterwards. So there's nothing to worry, there's nothing to fear. That is their mindset. And so they are free from the biggest fear of life, that is the fear of death only. That is freedom. That is a freedom which makes a person really blissful in life. And if you're not afraid of death, what will you be afraid of in the world? Nothing. Nothing can make you afraid. No attachment is going to trouble you. That is it. Krishna says here. He says, Jara marana mokshaya mama shritya yatanti ye te brahma tad viduhu kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. Seeking my refuge, these beings who to me bow, and from cyclic births and deaths they seek release. They experience Brahma's knowledge and peace, and the integral knowledge of divine karma they know. They understand. Krishna earlier had told, Janma karma chame divyam. My birth, my karmas are divine. The very realization can give you moksha. That realization can make you mukta. Same thing here. These people are jara marana mokshaya. Mama shritya yatanti. They have become free from this cycle. This cycle of birth and death, it is there. Inside one life itself, there are so many births and so many deaths inside of an individual's life itself, if you see. Would you want to go through the same cycles? Even in life, we don't want it. Well, even in the afterlife, these people are seeking to be free. They experience Brahma's knowledge and peace, and the integral knowledge of divine karma they know. Krishna goes on, Sadhibhutadi Daivam Mam, Sadhi Yagnyam Chaye Viduhu, Prayana Kalepi Chamam, Te Vidur Yukta Chetasaha. Recognizing me to the supreme living, to be the supreme living one, the primordial master and receiver of sacrifices of everyone, at the critical moment of death, when they are aware of me, they attain a merger and unite into my ethereal sea. Krishna says something very interesting. He says, those who recognize me, who have experienced and understood that I am the Supreme One, the Master, the receiver of the sacrifices, at the critical moment of death, when they are aware of me, they attain merger and unite into my ethereal sea. This is what Krishna has told. He's used some interesting words. Adi Bhuta, Adi Deva, Adi Yagnya. That I am the Adi Bhuta, I am the Adi Deva, I am the Adi Yagnya. If that person is able to realize in the critical moment of death, he says that person unites and becomes one with me. One question or two questions come in mind. First one is Krishna now suddenly following the other types of religions? You recognize me, then I'll release you. मेरे को सलाम करो, I'll let you go. A lot of people say, give me respect, then I will do your work. Is this what Krishna is doing here? Anybody? He's probably wanting to, he must be having a different type of social media account, trying to increase his followers so he can show off to the other devatas, maybe. What is it? What is the meaning of this? That person who recognizes the divine as the supreme receiver, that person, he says, merges and becomes one with me by virtue of that realization. Is this a kind of a divine bribe? Anybody?
Hello.
One moment, I'll just mute
Ah,
before I receive any order. Yes, please. Shwetaji, yes.
No, I feel Krishna is the absolute truth. So we merge with the absolute. Like there is nothing more. I mean, there is no
Meaning
conditional.
the consciousness that we cultivate, if we cultivate the divine consciousness inside, we might unite. That is a possibility,
We
isn't it?
unite in the consciousness only. No, like
Through
if
the
Krishna is
consciousness. Body
consciousness,
is going to be left behind anyway. The consciousness will probably be uniting.
yeah.
Okay. One more interesting question is he has told that if you remember at the critical moment of death, that is the prayana kala. Now nobody knows when the prayana kala is, isn't it? I don't know when my prayana kala is going to come. I mean, I would say, chalo, let it come after this time, after so many years, but I'm not sure. At least as of now, I don't know exactly. So you don't know what time is it. When you don't know that time, he's saying you must remember. How can you remember? If you know the time, then you can do a work,
Yeah,
isn't it? Like if
definitely.
somebody says, I want, but let us do this work at this time. So when you know the time, you'll do it, isn't it? So what? How do we bypass this big problem?
He means you have to remember him every time, at
We
all
have to remember
moments.
at all times. Okay, so that is the only way, isn't it?
तभी
So
तो जब
whenever
वो
time,
मोमेंट आएगा तब हम उसको याद करते
whenever it
रहेंगे,
comes, it
अदरवाइज
matters not. Otherwise, it's very easy, isn't it? Do a lot of wrong. There was a very beautiful story. One person read a particular shastra which said that if you tell the name of God in the last minute, you will get liberated. That was, he literally took the meaning, literal meaning of the same. So he did all the scams that he wanted to. He earned all the things he wanted to, but then the doctors told, now you don't have too much time. He said, okay, let's see. And then he tried to drag a little bit more, but then he also realized, now my vehicle will not go too far. And so he said, okay, let me now pretend to be very righteous. Last moments, they are enough. That is what I read. That is what this person told me. So what he did was he thought he'll fool God. Lifelong he's been fooling everybody. He thought now what I'll fool God also in the last moment. So what he did is he pretended to be very pious. And everybody around felt, oh, he has got some realization. He's finally got transformed, and everybody was quite sincere. However, one thing funny happened was in that last moment, his son made a mistake. And so he got so angry that he shouted out some profanity. And instead of the Harinam, which he wanted to, the last word came out as a profanity. Because you can't really fool the divine, isn't it? And what consciousness you cultivate, you are going to cultivate that. That will only be part of you. So that's one thing we can understand, that whether or not last moment is there now or later, it need not matter so much. If we are in the smaran of the divine, nothing's going to really be a big deal. So let us see. One thing Krishna succeeds by talking about the last moment. He has succeeded in awakening Arjuna's curiosity, because this is a Mrityu Kshetra. This battle is going to have last moments of so many people. Maybe Arjuna thinks his moment also may come. He does not know. No guarantee at all in such a situation. I mean, 57% less, I think, their army strength. And so it was quite difficult, of course. Let us see what Krishna says here. Arjuna Uvacha. किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम आदिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम आदिदैवं किमुच्यते. Arjuna asked, what is this perception that is known as Brahma? What can be truly termed as a self's karma? What phenomenon dominates the material coexistence? O Krishna, who was the first god that came into existence? I think before we go ahead, is there a difference in Arjuna's questioning right now? Do we see some difference in the way Arjuna is questioning? So far, we have seen Arjuna ask so many questions to Krishna. He said, how can I believe you? How can I trust you? I can't understand a single thing that you are saying. Suddenly, the way of questioning, do you think it has changed? Anybody? Yes,
Yeah,
or
he
it's about
wants
the
to
same?
know more now. He's not
Yes,
trying
it's
to
a
be
different type of
reluctant. He's
question, isn't it?
interested. Yeah.
He's
Hmm.
interested. He's like a seeker now, isn't it? Is there any skepticism that is visible right now in the words? Not much, nothing, no? So this is a point of transformation of Arjuna in his questions, at least. If you see 8th Adhyay, we see a sea change in Arjuna. Why, what, how, we don't know. Probably it may be the mention of death only, isn't it? Because death is a leveler and death is a great teacher. And many people's spiritual journeys begin because of death. Death of somebody, someone close, or death of an older personality or older version of themselves. That is the birth of a new life for an individual. So here It is a part of life, it is a part of a new creation also. And this aspect has now suddenly made Arjuna also look at things a little more differently. Because his question is, what is this perception that is known as Brahma? I want to know, what is this Brahma you're talking about? What can be truly termed as a self's karma? What is that karma of the divine self you're talking about? Then he says, what phenomenon dominates the material coexistence? Oh, Krishna, who was the first god that came into existence? There is Shraddha in Arjuna. He says, okay, Krishna, he's not going to say, hey, kuch bhi mat batana. Last time Krishna told that he told this Vivaswan, he told the entire truth of yoga, everything. Like, how do I believe you? That was his attitude. Now he's saying, tell me who it is, who it is. This is a beautiful thing because now Arjuna has transformed into a sadhak. The skeptic in Arjuna has gone behind, and probably it is said sometimes, isn't it? You must ask the right questions. When you ask the right questions, you will get the right answers. And here, Arjuna is now going deeper. Gita gets a turn from this chapter onwards. That is the eighth adhyaya of the Gita. Who was the first god? Krishna is being asked by Arjuna. He goes on further. He says, Adi yagnya katham kotra देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः. What was the first sacrifice in the physical? What is that Adi yagnya that you talked about? What was this great sacrifice, first sacrifice? Oh Krishna, how was it in the embodied being practical? How was it practical? How did it practically take place? Then comes the interesting question. At the time of death, where does the soul go? At the time of death, where does the soul further go? Your existence is truth. How can one really know? This is what Krishna is asking, is being asked by Arjuna. He says, first, what was this Adi Yagnya? Then how was it practical in a physical body? It's the divine, immutable, imperishable. How is it connected? How is it entering into a physical body? I don't understand it. Tell me. And then what happens? He says, at death, what happens? Where does the soul further go? Your existence is truth. How can one really know? This is Arjuna's question. This aspect of death, it is looked at differently by different people. A yogi understands death to be nothing but a transformation, a part of life, a journey. If there was not death, there will be no life also. They are together. And now Arjuna is really curious. He says, what happens after death? What is the journey of the soul? Almost like he wants to understand it. What's going to happen afterwards? Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Krishna replies, Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavodhyatmamuchyate Bhutabhavod Bhavakaro Visargaha Karma Sanyita. The formless infinite is Brahma, it is thus perceived. And the immortal self's existence in nature is conceived. That sacrifice, made at the moment of formation, is the self's karma performed for every being's creation. Krishna is telling first, Akṣara Brahma. Brahma is that which is Akṣara. That is the formless, the infinite one. That is the Brahman. And the immortal self's existence in nature is conceived. Means this Brahman is present in this Bhuloka, present in the Prakriti. Whether or not we realize it, Krishna says it is the Brahman is present. And what is the yagnya? What is the sacrifice? The sacrifice made at the moment of formation is the self's karma performed for every being's creation. The Adi Yagnya is the sacrifice made by the divine in forming this creation, in the manifestation of this creation. That is the first sacrifice. Anybody, can you just tell me why is this a sacrifice? The creation? If you would like to just guess, I mean, how can we look at it as a sacrifice? Yes,
think
Nidhi ji. Okay, then I'll come to Shweta ji. Yes, please.
Because we all are part of him. Like he's a bigger
Yeah.
self and we are small atoms or molecules.
Okay,
And
fine, fine.
ultimately we're going to be absorbed into the
Okay.
sacrifice.
Yes, yes. So, how do you term it as a sacrifice, though, Nidhi ji?
He's giving out a part of his self into the
Okay, a
world,
part of himself has become a
sending
part
out
of the
into the
creation.
world.
Okay, that's fair enough. Nidhi ji is saying. Shweta ji is adding something.
yeah, same perspective, but like the divine is reducing himself uh, to be
Huh.
created as us, like each of us.
Yes.
So it is a big sacrifice.
Big
Yeah,
downgrade. No, not an
yeah.
upgrade, isn't it? The all-powerful, imperishable, supreme creator has now created a perishable creation. A creation which is having imperfection, a creation that is not conscious of the divine divinity only. It's like who can choose to be weak? Sri Aurobindo has asked a beautiful question. Who can choose to be weak? Only the all powerful, isn't it? The powerful only can choose to be weak, not somebody who is weak. Because a weak becomes more weak is going to ultimately perish. Only somebody who has strength, that person can choose to be weak like that. The divine has made a sacrifice in the creation of the Srishti. Why, what we can say, God only knows why God created this world. And that is true actually. There is some divine agenda which is at play, which we may not be fully conscious of, but we are getting glimpses in this process of evolution as we move forward. But that is the sacrifice made by the divine in the creation. Next, Krishna goes on. Adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha purushaschaधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञो अहमेवात्र देहे देह भृतांबरः भृतांबara. Perishable is the nature of the material coexistence. Krishna says this nature of the world. What is this world? This world is a Kshara Vishwa, isn't it? It comes with an expiry date. All of us also. We all have an expiry date, whether or not we like it, isn't it? It's like somebody has gone and whispered to our heart, you are going to beat only these many times. Whether or not one beat more, not one beat less. Well, but that is the truth of this nature. This is the truth of the world. Who is the first God? Krishna says it is the omniscient transcendental existence, a supreme existence. And the first sacrifice, you want to understand what is the Adi yagnya? He says, it is my dwelling in all physical beings or species. And I am also the receiving Lord of all their sacrifices. Yes, he says, the Adi yagnya is the one who is the receiver, the bhoktara of sarva yagnya. As Krishna says, bhoktaram yagnya tapasam sarva loka maheshwara. This Maheshwara, where is he dwelling? Inside this physical body. This is one of the miracles of life. Life itself is a miracle if we look at it from a higher perspective. But one of the beautiful miracles, of the many miracles that are there in the life, is the presence of a supreme divine entity. Krishna is telling it is present inside every single one of us. That is the first, one of the first sacrifices made by the divine. Have we felt the presence of a divinity inside of us? Yes. Anybody? Yes. If
Hariom
you can
sir,
share. Yes,
I,
Manlata ji.
I think what we call conscious, you know, and every time when you do something wrong, whether anyone knows it or not, but you know it, and it pricks you, you know,
Okay.
it tells you that it is wrong. I
So
mean, I
that
think that is what.
okay, that's interesting. When Lataji has talked about the inner conscious or inner divine voice, that inner voice which is guiding, that is the indicator for her about the divine. All right. Yes. Who else is adding? Okay. Anita ji is adding next. Okay.
Sir, I have two things. One is, of course, uh, inner voice guiding us, but also sometimes when you are so lost and you feel so alone in the world, suddenly you feel that somebody is there and you continue. So that is when I feel the divine presence the most.
Okay. So a divine presence that is probably becoming your companion and helping you see light even in the darkest moments. That's interesting. Thank you, Anita ji. Yes, Shweta ji was adding something. Yes.
Yeah, so like there are moments, no, like when uh, your preferences don't matter to you, and like just today I
What matters
felt
to you? Sorry, I missed the word.
preferences, like
Okay.
today, like just a moment where my spouse's preference was, like I felt कि चलो मतलब दिल से I just did that, and मुझे suddenly, I felt कि जब मैं नहीं तो हरी है वो, there is
Okay.
something na, like
Okay.
like when you don't think of yourself and you're able to do something, those moments you feel okay. When you really are self-forgetful, so something you feel that presence. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a very wonderful thing to be able to perceive it. Yes. Yes. Anybody else wishes to add, or we'll move ahead?
I
Yes.
think,
Okay.
can I?
Yes,
May
please. Yes, please. Yes, please, ji.
I? I think that the dwelling in all of us, in the physical body of human being, I think that I take it as our strength and our capacity to bear difficult moments in life, and uh, of course the consciousness and our intelligence, or
Okay.
sat vivek buddhi, what we
Okay.
talked
These
earlier,
are all
or
indicators of
the yeah,
something
these are
divine.
the indicators of divinity.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah, we would have not been able to tackle many difficult situations or moments in our life.
Right, right. Yes, Abhaji. And there's no particular hard and fast rule that this must be felt this way only. Some person may get a different experience. Some may get a practical experience. Some may get a experience of certain great warmth in the heart. Somebody might get an occult physical experience. Some may get a supra-physical experience also. But the experience is there, and Krishna says that is one of the first sacrifices. That even if somebody who studies the creation of life also how it is, it's very interesting. It is said that just like the Srishti was created with a great bang and great light, just like that, when the fusion takes place, the sperm and the ovum, at that time also they have watched that, scientists have recorded that particular moment. There is again a release of light. It is like some kind of divine presence enters into the living being. Until that presence comes in, consciousness is not there. And a senior neurologist I was working with once, he was very confused with something goes out of the body. I don't know what it is. I've seen so many patients in their final moments. Monitors give me some reading. Monitors tell me so many things. But I know there is, and this is not something physical that has moved that I can see and where is it gone? How has it come? How has it gone? I don't know. But that is there. That is a presence. He didn't, of course, use the word presence. It was an intriguing factor to him. For him, it was like they say, Ascharyavat pashyati kaschate. Some people see and remark it to be remarkable. So, something like that. Let's continue. Krishna goes on. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra sanshaya. Whoever while leaving the body remembers me at the time of death, if he can thus focused be of traversing the unknown realms he shall have no fear, and to the Supreme, my consciousness will take him near. This is what Krishna is saying. Whoever, while leaving this body, remembers me, whoever is having the smarana of the divine, at the time of death, if he can be so focused, if he can be so focused of traversing the unknown dreams, he shall have no fear. And to the Supreme, my consciousness will take him near. So at that moment, if the person can be calm, if the person can be focused, he shall have no fear. Fear of what? Fear of the unknown. That is the fear all the time, isn't it? You don't know something, it is a human nature to fear it. But if you are conscious, you are cultivating a consciousness inside of you of the divine. You are understanding a supra-physical consciousness exists, and it's a feeling. It's like a light which is guiding you. That light is going to again connect you with that light. It will take you towards that only. The Vedic mantra is there of how we can say Samrutam Kanchana Bodhayanti, even golden rays which are giving direction to those people who have left their bodies. The souls are being taken towards that light, which is that it is the supreme light only. And this light is so brilliant that it is beyond everything, the divine and the demonic. What is there in front of the supreme truth? It is that supreme light like a sun. Rashmimantam Samudyantam Deva Suranamaskrutam Pujayami Vivaswantam Bhaskaram Bhuvaneshwaram. A supreme light of the divine, that truth, that will lead you. And that consciousness, if you cultivate inside, you're not going to have fear at all. Because you say, Jako rakhe sayamar sakena koe. If you are conscious of the presence of the divine, whichever moment, God is going to be with me. I've already felt his presence, here or there, whichever world we talk about. That is one experience. Before we move into the next shloka, uh, has anybody seen some of the people's last moments in their life? Anyone? And have you seen anybody being very calm and very peaceful in their final moments? Yes, anyone? Shobhaji is saying something? Okay, and then we'll
Yeah.
probably go to Niriji
Yes,
and
my
then
mother.
Anitaji. Yeah. Yes,
My
sorry ji?
mother. When my mother
Okay.
passed away, she was extremely calm, absolutely peaceful. And there were friends and others sitting and reading the Ramayana. And she was very peaceful. She had suffered a lot in her lifetime, lot of illnesses, but she never used to
Okay.
complain. And
Just
that
to never
continued
come.
till the last moment.
Okay, so she was already practicing samatha, is it, Shobhaji, to some extent?
Yeah, possibly. But she was not a very ritualistic person. She didn't
Okay.
believe in going to the temple, but she used to do her puja at home, Shanti se, help everybody.
Ah,
But she didn't believe we should go to do the rituals. Though I think
okay,
I'm
no
more
problem.
of a ritualist than she was. I don't know why
Okay.
or how.
No, we have a choice. Why do we have to? Why everybody should not be the same? It's not
Ah,
necessary. That's the beauty of life. There
yeah.
is diversity. But this aspect, what Shobhaji is talking about, one just question, Shobhaji, was your mother overall a very calm person, or at least in that period, she was quite calm or cranky?
No, she was not cranky, but she was very
Yeah.
strict with us.
Maybe earlier or in
Certain
life,
things. No,
yes,
she was
but
never a hysterical or not that
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of a person. No, she
Isn't it?
was
So even
very
in the
calm.
final moments,
Ah,
because sometimes the soul gets to know that the moment is, and then the person who is not prepared, no, that person is like a fish out of water, fluttering and so disturbed.
yeah.
But this calmness is something
In fact,
very
something
interesting.
very strange was when she just one day before she passed away, she was very sick and in the ICU. When I went in to see her, she was with the nurse and she told the nurse that my son is going to come tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I don't know how she knew. She said that to the nurse, and sure
Wow,
enough, my brother landed at 5 and came into the hospital.
so
She
lovely.
opened her eyes
Yes,
then. Till then, she was not moving. She opened her eyes and said, told the nurse, he's come outside, call him in. It was a
so
very,
beautiful.
very, yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain how that.
No, this is what we call one Dr. Atul Murari. He is a retired doctor of Ladyhood in medical college, a very senior one. I think he was the head of the dean or something of the institute. He had once come in a session. He talked about in medical science also they talk about something called extrasensory perception. So this is something like that. And just as Shobhaji is sharing, before I come to the other participants, just one participant, Raghavi Kollaji, she had shared one experience of her mother. She had also attended a workshop some 4 5 years, but that mother shared the experience of her grandmother in the class, and she was saying that my grandmother, and her English was a little bit. She was talking in present tense, so it was a little bit. Interesting to see. My grandmother is very simple, and she started talking all stuti of her. And she was also not very ritualistic at all. And she did all because she had to take care of the house. She never got a chance to go too much for pilgrimages, but she did all the vratas, everything very sincerely in her house. And it was actually Vaikuntha Ekadashi day, and that day it seems guests had come. She served all the guests, and she went to this Maji, and when she was very little, she came and told her just one line. She said, "My Vimana has come." And that was the last thing after that she passed away. And everybody was so surprised. I mean, how is this possible? This is, but these are experiences of calm souls. The yogis have a different last journey. That is something very interesting. The yogis, I think even Pitama Bhishma, he could choose his death, isn't it? He had that, according to the legend, it is he chose his point. He wanted to select a particular time of departure. Anybody is aware of that? What time he was looking for?
Yes,
Yes.
he
What is
was
it, Abaji?
looking. It was the period after the month of June. I think
Yeah.
Uttarayan or Dakshina something.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay. There's a
confused.
Dakshinayan and there's an Uttarayan. So he was waiting for the Uttarayan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe he had and it's good you gave this because one person said he was waiting for Bhishma Ekadashi. That name came quite later. So the Uttarayan period has something different. So it's like interesting that celestial bodies also have some role in this entire journey. It's something quite metaphysical, this entire kinetics of the departing soul. So yes, I think Anita ji was sharing and then I'll come to Nidhi ji. Yes, please. Anita ji, you were saying something?
Uh, Sir, of the so many deaths I've seen, this was a person I knew. She's not related to me. She always
Okay.
had a smiling face, had lots of health issues, and I think she was nearly 80. But she would always have a
Okay.
smiling face. And the day she died, she had literally switched off I mean, she had kept the cooker on the gas, and she came and she slept on the bed, as in just lie down, jab tak city hota hai मैं उठूंगी, and she passed
Hmm.
away like that. But her full body posture was like she would get up any time now. I mean, I've never
She's
seen
very
such a.
calm and relaxed. Hmm.
Yes, and something in her face, though her eyes were closed, had some smile in it, like,
Okay.
yeah, I'm happy to see you all types. So,
Okay, it's like the completed work and now I'm going. Pura homework complete kar diya, now I'm going for the next journey. Something of that
absolutely,
sort.
sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes. All right. Thank you, Anitaji, for sharing that experience. So, yes, is what Nidhi was saying something. Probably then we'll move ahead. Yes, please.
When my mother-in-law expired, she had cancer. She was in the hospital. Until that time, she was like, okay, get me cured, take me home. And then one day she said, अब मैं ऐसे ही रहूंगी. And after that, she stopped asking any questions. She just went calm. And within a day or two, she passed away. And at that time, she was entirely still, no queries, nothing. Otherwise, she was like something like the one thing you said, the machli, बिना
Yes,
जल
yes,
के तड़पड़ाती है
fluttering.
शाम.
Yeah.
She was that. But at that time, she went entirely calm and she was at peace with herself.
Yes, yes. All right. Thank you, Nidhi. So this is something, and this is not possible for everybody. For those who are not trapped in their desires. Otherwise, people at that time also, they are just like, hey, this property should not go to that person. That person showed this face to me. All these kind of thoughts only come in the head. Nobody is calm. But this calmness comes to yogis, and that is something Krishna is saying. It's something who is able to cultivate it. Normally, it is at the end of the life, the real sadhana of an individual, how much ever the person claims to be spiritual or not. you can really understand where that, like many people say, when a person goes to hospital, you identify whether the person is really calm or not, because immediately the person gets so, when things are not in control. It is something like that. And yogis, this chapter, Krishna is going to be sharing specifically about the yogis' journey of how they are going to fare, how the conscious ones are going to fare. Probably we'll get an understanding why Bhishma also was specifically looking at a particular time. He was looking at a particular moment also, because he was aware some knowledge was there to him already. So let us see. Krishna goes on. We go to the sixth shloka. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. O Arjuna, when the physical body one leaves at the time of departure, whatever one believes, that idea which is strong in his final contemplation, he takes that form and object of his imagination. This is again an interesting metaphysical fact being given to us by Krishna, a truth of which is metaphysical. He says, when the physical body one leaves, meaning the physical body is left behind, the inner, what we call Jivatman, it begins a journey, a forward journey. At the time of departure, whatever one believes, that idea which is strong in his final contemplation, he takes that form and object of his imagination. What is the strongest sanskar? That is why I think when we have these various shraddha kriyas, isn't it? And that, what do? They try to immediately, they make the best favorite foods, whatever the person understood. It is like it's in a way to allow the person to move forward, because the attachments should not remain. The attachments are always going to be the cycle. The consciousness is going to have some kind of imprint. Ultimately, it is going to be lost. It's not going to be remain forever. But that journey, the journey is going to first, it's going to slowly, things are going to get left behind and the journey begins and goes ahead. That is what Krishna is talking about. Whichever idea is there in that final moment, that is taken as the object and form of that particular imagination. So that is why Krishna says, Tasmat, simplest solution. I think what was told already by participants. What do we do when you don't know the prayana kala? Well, imagine every moment is your final moment. What's going to happen then? Well, you are free. You are free, you are blissful. You have nothing to lose. And you're going to try to make each moment the best. And one very simple way is offer every moment to the divine. That's what Krishna is saying here. Arjuna, in this battle, worry not. Worry not about who is going to, which arrow will come from where. Don't have to worry about anything. Instead, focus on your duties. And here is the shloka. He says, Tasmad, Tasmad Sarveshu Kadeshu, Mam Manusmara Yudhya cha, Mai Arpita, Mano Buddhir, Mame Vaishyasi, Asanshayah. He says, don't forget me. That's all he's telling him. In all your Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu, at all times. By don't forget me, Krishna is not saying remember me with the basuri only, or remember me like this, remember me in this form. Whichever form you are accustomed to, whichever resonates with your heart, focus on that. In all your battles and actions, let your insight be affixed. Sorry. In all your actions, in all your battles and actions, let your insight be fixed. Upon me, let your mind and intellect be affixed. At all times, when you remember me constantly, O Arjuna, you shall then come to me certainly. Krishna is saying at all times, if you are having this smaran, if your consciousness is affixed on the divine, in your all battles, every action that you are going to do, just offer your mind, offer your intellect to the divine and do your duties. That's all he's saying at all times. Because if your mind is affixed, when you're having the smarana, then you will definitely come to me, is what Krishna says. With this, we are ready to stop at the shloka today. That is the shloka number 7. Krishna will share a little bit about this journeys and some other interesting metaphysical truths of life and death, and probably the post-death journey as well in this adhyay. So with this, we are ready to conclude. If anybody wishes to ask or share something, you are most welcome. If any queries are there, any questions you want to ask, or we'll just look at the take-home points and go ahead. Yes, please. Yes, Anita ji. Yes, please.
So when you talked of death, the calm death, but then there are some deaths which look like very terrible. I've seen with
Yes.
the eyeballs coming out, the mouth, it's like somebody is pulling them and they're struggling. So,
Yes.
and unfortunately, I've seen this with people who have been very kind in their life. So
Okay.
what is it? Like then there's a dichotomy. These people who have been so calm in their life, uh, I will not say spiritual in the literal sense, but they believe in God. They have been following the principle of kindness to human beings and everybody, and
Yes.
yet you see a very violent death in their uh,
Lives.
face, in their
Yes.
face.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. So there are two questions to it. What happens to them and why did it happen to them? Isn't it, Anita ji?
true, sir.
So now if we look at, was just one of the interesting, we have seen the history of Bharat only. We have seen Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and Aurangzeb.
Yes,
Who lived longer? The one who was gouging eyes of other people, isn't it? Who was
yes.
creating, inflicting conflict. What could be the reason and why did Shivaji Maharaj have a shorter life and why did Aurangzeb have a longer life? A simple answer we can give, that is Prārabdha.
True.
So what happens is this is something just because I may have done something, it's like I said, everybody has their a kind of a journey has been somewhere, some aspects. Maybe how the journey is not going to be fully decided. That aspect of freedom is there. We will see in the Gita in the 18th adhyaya also something about fate and something about free will. But overall, sometimes certain things are not really in human hands. So maybe this person has lived a good life, but the prarabdhas are so strong that that individual has to go in that particular way. So that is something which we can. It's one of the difficult truths, no, of life, which is difficult to accept also. Why? Well,
Very
probably that.
difficult, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. But maybe. But there is one thing with sadhana, things can change. There are, means even Sri Aurobindo's life also, the yogis had, predicted certain things about his health and his life, other things. With sadhana, he was able to transform. Same thing for his wife, he could not do. For Mrinalini, he already knew that particular time had been destined and he wanted to work on it. And he had just reminded somebody to tell him, and he also wanted to keep an eye, but he was doing his sadhana. That particular time went ahead and he missed that time and he was not conscious. So there is a some kind of there's a some kind of leeway is there for the divine action to bring about certain transformation. Some kind of things may not be so gory. For example, my own grandmother, she had terrible edema. She had so her it's like body suffering. Someone who was never really she never really did I think anything bad to anybody in her life. My grandfather wanted her to get educated. She said, no, I'll make 100 chapatis, don't send me to school. After marriage, also, she didn't want to go in. And that was her personal choice. But she was always sweet and nice to so many people, all of it. But a very difficult death had come to her. But one interesting thing I saw was she had some kind of delusion and some kind of disconnect from the physical pain when I had gone to the hospital, and the nurse also had made plates like they do for school children. And she told a very funny thing. She said, my master is going to give the party or slate. He will give the homework and I will do it as if she is in school. Another time she just moved my hand like this. Move your hand. Let me put some more salt. Somebody's marriage is there. I'm cooking. I'm preparing something. So these are interesting experiences. We don't really exactly know from the outside. It was very much. It was very difficult to look at also. But she was going through a different experience. So soul journeys are a little governed by so many factors. Why certain gory deaths have come to some people? Probably it's prarabdha. But we must also understand Krishna says the journey is not over with one death. Punarapi Janama, Punarapi Marana cycle is going on. Slowly is some evolution going to take place. So that is one thing. And the second aspect, the consequences of the death on the journey. Well, we do not worry too much about that also because ultimately all roads, they say, lead to Rome, something like that. All the souls, they are ultimately going to go towards that divine. Maybe for a period, some struggles are there because it is a part of an experience. The Jivatman is gathering certain experiences and going ahead. But even those who do who are very, we are going to see yogis. Yogis are going to have greater control. Like one yogini, I think I had referred to her, Kusumben of Sri Aurobindo Ashram. At a very young age, she just joined and she lived her entire life. So clear she was that she did not even want the smallest debt to be unpaid. Everything had to be clear. She called even the nice people of her life who were very good and she arranged for a dinner. Very rare. Ashramites don't have any parties, don't do anything like that. But she arranged for all of them to be present, that too before 6 o'clock. She called them and she was a perfect host, meeting everybody. Khana kaisa hai, acha hai kya, everything like that. She asked and my sister was also invited and for some reason we all were a little bit concerned, why has she called in so many years? She has not called anybody and she has never done such a thing. She stayed in that place that was allotted for her and it was there she has called everyone. We quietly I mean, we didn't speak anything but we knew something was different, and sure enough the very next day early morning she passed away peacefully in the sleep. And it was very interesting the choice of people she called also. It was just those souls who had some way touched her somewhere or the other. So that is their consciousness, isn't it, Anitaji?
True, sir, but it is so difficult to, when you see such a death, I mean, that person has passed,
Yes.
so there is nothing for that body,
But
but you go and you see the eyes bulging
that
out, the
creates a
mouth.
sanskar, that creates a
It's
sanskar.
like
We
a,
have to
it's
still,
very
we have
traumatic, sir.
to, yes, 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 and we have to still come out of that because sometimes that if we are, that sanskara is created one on us, then we'll have to slowly understand that it is a part of life and we have to accept it, isn't it, Ji?
True, sir. Thank you, sir.
Because if we do not, that sanskara will still remain in us and it will take some time for us to overcome. Otherwise, our lives also, we will always keep some of the bad dreams, bad experiences. What can we do in life other than come to terms with it? Otherwise, they have some imprint on our psychology, on our thinking. And sometimes, if they are not cleared off early, they lead to some kind of, psychosomatic troubles also. So we'll
True.
have to understand, but we just have to understand that whichever journey, that is the journey of the body. It may not have been perfect, it may not have been right, but the soul's journey is forward. We'll see in this adhyaya also a little bit more about the journey. And it is a, we can say, a difficult experience, but it has to be taken. Maybe there was a reason the divine gave that experience also. Some understanding, a higher understanding would come.
And that is when you realize that there is something called like a prarabdha, even if you don't believe,
Yes,
even it
yes,
hits
yes,
you hard and it makes you,
yes,
it's like shaking you
yes.
up and saying, yes, look, this is how past things come and catch up with you.
Yes, absolutely. It will, and we must all be alert and nothing to be afraid of. We need not be, because most of the time the fear comes. That was the Yaksha Prashna give of, like Yudhishthira was asked, and I mean, it was Yudhishthira's reply that man always thinks death comes to somebody else and never to himself. That is one
True.
of the miracles. Instead, if we just understand and we don't have to worry about its timing, can come on.
Yes.
I would want to live a long life. I would say I want to live it for me. I want to live for my wife. I want to have this experience. All that is fine. But I must take understanding that I can't guarantee. Can I guarantee that I have
No,
a
sir.
full 20 years, 30 years, 20 minutes also I can't take a guarantee from now. That is the truth.
True, sir.
But why should I take a guarantee? Then life will become boring. Let it be whatever Krishna or Padam. It's easier to just offer it to the divine and look at life in a little different manner. Because if you have felt that these people should not have gone that way, then you know that story is not complete, isn't it, Anitaji?
Yeah, true.
that is not complete. So it's not complete for a purpose. Sometimes some stories are left incomplete so that they will get revived in a different direction. Something we may not know right now, but we will see. We will see. I really, even the smallest things we think we don't know, and very insignificant incidences bring about great changes. Sometimes even decades later, we don't understand it, but we then suddenly at one moment we understand.
Yes,
We
sir.
do not. We can just keep these as experiences and not replay them too much in the mind because they will then create a trouble. That soul has gone
True.
forward. We should also move
Yes.
forward. That is our journey as well.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes,
sir.
please. Ji. Thank you, Ji. Hari Om. Yes, if there are no queries or anything you wish to share, we just look at some take-home points and we'll conclude with the Shanti mantra. Yes, please. Anybody? Any take-home points from today's session?
So for me, today's take home is about the integral knowledge of divine. Like that is something which is, like makes all this
Yes, little
integral
louder, please. Integral knowledge of what, Ji?
integral knowledge of divine, which becomes a promise, on this path. So yeah, that is very precious to me. So that is my take home, that that knowledge, the integral knowledge I seek. And also that today I realized that so much attachment is there and
Okay.
heaviness is there. So a lot of work to be done.
Yes,
Please.
and probably becoming fearless would be one simple thing. It is where are we? Who is the divine? Divine is a divine parent, whichever form we think at. Look at the divine. Why should we fear? And again, every unknown route does not have to be a horrible one. Every route that we don't know, we don't have to already be so sure that it is not right. So we just have to
Yeah.
understand.
So also that we don't know about, like, see, you have elders who are like, you feel maybe they're not so conscious as of now, and but we don't know. We really don't know. So we can pray, but everybody has a pure soul, is what I would
Yes,
say.
yes, that is the universal prayer also. We end every time with that only. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Let us, and that's actually a selfless prayer, and in a way, it's a selfish prayer also, isn't it? It's a little selfish because I'll be happy when everybody I know are who I'm connected to somebody else's troubles come. We'll feel that if my own brother is not feeling good, how will I feel good? So then let everybody
Yeah.
feel good. And one thing is all the experiences you have to learn to look at samatha, whether it is as Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, all for dukkha dosha darshanam. If you are able to see all four, birth, well, birth, a lot of people celebrate, but young couples sometimes get worried. कि कैसे हो गया? We're not ready for it. So that is, again, that also has to be understood as a part of life. Janma. Mrityu also. Mrityu doesn't have to always happen at an old age. It can happen anytime. So that is the second truth. Jara. Jara is aging. Aging is going to take place, isn't it? Whether or not I'll say I am evergreen, I am always evergreen. But then I'll see all the other colors also in myself after a while. Kala is not going to stop. So Janma, Mrityu, Jara, and Vyadhi, disease. Disease also are not with nobody is going to give an invitation to a disease or disease is not going to announce and come. It is going to come unannounced. These are all four truths as Krishna says, and he says Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. Anudarshana, looking at all with samatha. ये जीवन है तो ये होगा. This is there, it will be part of life. And looking at it with balance, that will allow you to keep this mind free from disturbance, free from fear. And Krishna says a mind that is having smaran of the divine, is conscious of the divine, need not worry about anything. No bad consequence has to be worried about or imagined also. The Shraddha is there, the Shraddha inside the soul it has a power also. Like they say, प्रभु को नियम बदलते देखा. Some of the really great difficult moments of some people are transformed also. Sometimes A great accident is saved by a smaller accident. Afterwards the realization comes. Maybe we don't realize. So Shraddha is a very powerful force. We will see if it helps anyway, because there must be some reason all these saints would be talking about cultivating Shraddha. They might have had some knowledge, surely. Like Pitama Bhishma was waiting for a particular. He knew something about a journey of the soul. Some of the yogis just knew how to leave their body just behind and move ahead consciously in their state. So this is one interesting thing, and we must understand that this is not in human hands. So humans should not try to. Some people try to. They feel if I end my life, I'll get a reset. It's not going to be start from level one. It's going to be continuing from where we have left behind. The story is not going to get over. People feel they can run away from challenges, but it will not. The challenges will remain the same. Your checkpoint is going to get saved only. So you'll have to continue from where you last left. So this aspect, it is just a journey, and yogis are actually a little bit more calm. So because of that, they get different experiences. We will see in the next session what Krishna is going to share about. So with this, let us conclude with a Shanti Mantra. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्ण वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम पुनर्मिलामः. This topic is a little bit, 8th Adhyaya is a little bit difficult one. One young participant, 21, she started crying, why are you teaching this? Sorry, it is there in the Gita. We'll have to look at it since we are covering all 700 shlokas. That was what I could say. But afterwards, it is something which we have to understand, and then probably things become different. Arjuna's transformation also is taking place in this Adhyaya only. A new Arjuna. Now we cannot give marks to Arjuna. He will go into a different level. We'll have to just try to keep up with him then. Yes, please. All right then. Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Hari Om.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste. Hari
Thank
Om.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.